As people age, many find that their legs seem to lose their responsiveness. The desire to move remains, but the knees betray them, and the legs feel incredibly heavy. Even a short walk to the nearest store becomes a real challenge. However, there's no need to blame oneself. After 60, 70, or 80 years, the body undergoes subtle but noticeable changes. But there's also good news. Losing strength in your legs doesn't mean an active lifestyle has to be a thing of the past. On the contrary, properly selected exercises can restore lost comfort and ease of movement. There is a set of simple exercises that can be performed at home without the need for complicated equipment. These movements gently affect the joints, are safe for older adults, and effectively keep the body toned. After the age of 60, many older adults begin to notice that walking, once easy and effortless, becomes an increasingly difficult task with each passing year. A familiar walk to the store or park turns into a tiring and even frightening event. The knees begin to make plaintive sounds with each step, the ankles are gripped by unpleasant stiffness, and the legs seem to ask, "Do we really have to do this today?" However, this experience is much more common than it seems, and there is no need to blame yourself for what is happening. It is simply a manifestation of age-related changes that require a more careful and attentive approach to your body. After the age of 60, muscle mass begins to decrease naturally, a condition known as muscle atrophy. This process occurs gradually and imperceptibly, leading to weakening of the muscles of the thighs and calves if they are not exercised regularly. Like a car that has been sitting in the garage for a long time, the body begins to lose its functionality. In addition, the cartilage in the knees, which acts as a shock absorber between the bones, thins over time. The absence of this soft padding leads to increased friction with each step. The ligaments that hold the joints together also weaken, reducing their stability. That's why some older adults feel their knees buckle even when performing simple movements, such as getting up from chair. But that's not all. With age, the circulatory system also slows down. The heart begins to pump blood less intensely, and blood circulation in the legs deteriorates. This can lead to a feeling of coldness, numbness, or increased fatigue in the legs, especially after a short walk. Even the Achilles tendon, which connects the calf muscle to the heel, becomes less elastic over time. This stiffness makes it difficult to move the foot, creating the feeling that weights are tied to the legs. Imagine the legs as an old bicycle. The frame is still strong, the wheels are in good condition, but the chain needs lubrication, the brakes need adjustment, and the pedaling should be smooth and measured without sudden jerks. Don't forget the emotional factor, the fear of falling. Many older adults who have experienced a minor fall in the bathroom or stumbled on the stairs begin to feel stiffness and insecurity in their movements. The body remembers the fear experienced, and the mind does not forget it either. As a result, a person begins to move less, preferring to stay at home, which leads to even greater stiffness, slower movements, and increased fatigue. Fear of falling is a perfectly natural reaction, but it is important to understand that the less we move, the higher the likelihood of falling. The danger lies not in movement, but in its absence. It is the lack of movement that causes the body to forget how to maintain balance. It is important to realize that reduced physical activity is not a sign of weakness, but a signal that the body needs a new approach. The body is not asking to stop moving. It is asking to move differently, more gently, consciously, and carefully. That's why there is a set of exercises that do not require long walks or expensive equipment. They are safe, practical, and designed specifically for older adults who have wisdom, life experience, and a desire to continue moving without pain or fear. Aging is not synonymous with weakness. It is the ability to listen to your body and treat it with respect and care. If walking has become difficult, don't despair. The solution is not to stop, but to move more wisely and efficiently. There comes a time in life when even standing for a short time seems like an impossible task. For many older adults, especially those over 65, simple activities such as walking around the house or climbing stairs become more tiring than before. The legs feel heavy, the knees stiff, and there's a fear of losing balance. However, prolonged sitting is not the solution. On the contrary, it only exacerbates stiffness and fatigue. There is a gentle but effective exercise that can be performed right in a chair. It's called seated marching and helps improve blood circulation, reduce joint stiffness, and restore comfort to everyday life. How can sitting and lifting your legs benefit the body? With age, blood flow in the lower extremities slows down, leading to a feeling of coldness in the legs, swelling of the ankles, and weakening of the muscles. The veins that used to actively pump blood back to the heart now work less efficiently. Gentle movements help wake them up, like warm water flowing through an old pipe. When performing seated marching, the hip flexors, thigh muscles, and knee joints are engaged in a safe and supported way. This is especially helpful for older adults who find it difficult to stand or walk for long periods without support. There's no risk of falling, no pressure on the spine, and the benefits are felt deep in the muscles and nerves of the legs. To perform the exercise, sit comfortably on a sturdy chair with a back, making sure your feet are flat on the floor and your back is straight. Your hands should rest freely on your thighs or at your sides. Take a gentle breath in, and as you exhale, slowly lift your left knee up about 10 to 15 centimeters. Hold it in this position for a second, and then gently lower it back down. Repeat the same with your right leg. Breathing should be even and calm, without rushing. This is not a competition, but a dialogue between mind and body, reminding the legs that they are still capable of moving. Repeat this alternating movement 10 to 15 times for each leg. If it seems tiring at first, you can start with 6 to 8 repetitions and gradually increase the number as your muscles strengthen. After completing one set, rest for 30 seconds and then repeat the exercise. 2 to 3 sets per session is ideal. To create a more pleasant atmosphere, you can turn on quiet instrumental music or a light march. Let the music set the rhythm for your body. If you feel warmth or lightness in your legs during the exercise, it's a good sign that blood circulation is improving, nerves are awakening, and joints are stretching. It is normal to experience discomfort while performing the exercise. The first few times may feel unusual, especially if your legs have been inactive for a long time. However, consistency is the key to success. Even a small number of leg lifts each day will bring positive results. Seated marching may seem like a simple exercise, but it has a significant impact on the body. It improves oxygen flow to the legs, stimulates blood circulation, and supports the activity and flexibility of the knees and hips. Most importantly, it allows you to take responsibility for your health without getting up or taking long walks. By simply lifting one leg after another, you can strengthen your legs and gain independence and confidence in your movements. At times, the legs feel heavier than usual, as if they are carrying not only the weight of the body, but also the burden of years lived. After prolonged sitting, the ankles are gripped by unpleasant stiffness, and by evening there is slight swelling in the feet. The skin near the toes becomes tight, and putting on slippers becomes a challenge. If these sensations are familiar to you, know that these are not just signs of aging. This is a signal from the body that blood circulation in the lower extremities is slowing down. However, there is good news. A few minutes of gentle ankle exercises each day can significantly reduce stiffness, improve blood flow, and bring relief to tired legs. Simple but effective exercises such as pumps and ankle circles can help and can be performed lying down, sitting in a chair, or even during evening tea. After the age of 60, many older adults experience a deterioration in venous outflow, which means that the return of blood from the legs to the heart slows down. This is due both to the weakening of the leg muscles and to prolonged sitting. When the calf muscles do not work regularly, they stop putting pressure on the veins. As a result, fluid begins to accumulate in the ankles and feet, causing swelling, fatigue, and a feeling of heaviness in the legs. That's why doctors often recommend performing small foot movements to stimulate the so-called second heart of the body, the calf pump. Just as the heart pushes blood out, the calves help it rise back up. For safe and correct execution of the exercise, sit comfortably on a chair or lie on a bed, extending both legs straight out in front of you. The heels should rest slightly on the surface, and the knees should remain relaxed. Then gently pull your toes toward you, as if trying to point them upward. Hold this position for 2 seconds, feeling a slight stretch in the calf muscle. After that, slowly point your toes away from you, as if pressing on the gas pedal of a car. Hold again for 2 seconds. Repeat this forward and backward movement 15 to 20 times. Despite the apparent ease, the leg muscles are actively working and blood flow is improving. After completing the pumping, you can move on to ankle circles. Slightly lift one leg off the floor or bed and begin to rotate the foot in slow, controlled circular motions clockwise 10 times, and then counterclockwise 10 times. Repeat the same with the other leg. Don't worry if the circular movements are not perfect the first time. Even small, careful movements will bring benefits. Over time, the ankles will become more flexible and responsive. The advantage of these exercises is that they can be performed at any time, while watching television, listening to music, or talking to grandchildren. No special equipment or standing position is required. If your legs are very tired by the end of the day, these exercises can be performed before bed. If your morning begins with a feeling of stiffness in your legs, they can be performed immediately after waking up. And if you are recovering from surgery or have been advised to limit walking, these exercises become even more important to prevent deep vein thrombosis, a common risk during periods of prolonged rest. Pumps and ankle circles are beneficial not only for the legs, but also for the heart, kidneys, and mind. When the legs feel lighter, overall well-being improves. There's more desire to move and live a full life. Therefore, it is worth paying a little attention to your ankles every day. Let each movement become a quiet message to your body. I'm still here, I'm still moving, and I'm still in control of my life. Small steps like these are not just exercises, but an expression of self-care. As people age, many begin to notice small changes in upper body strength. Tasks that once seemed easy, such as opening a stuck window, lifting a bucket of water, or opening a heavy door, now require more effort. You may feel tired in your shoulders or mild pain in your upper back after standing for long periods. These are not signs of weakness, but gentle reminders from the body that the muscles of the chest, shoulders, and arms need care and attention. One simple and effective way to restore strength is the wall push-up exercise. This is a modified version of the traditional push-up, designed specifically for older adults who may feel insecure performing push-ups from the floor or putting excessive strain on their wrists. The shoulder muscles, also known as the deltoids, begin to contract with age if they are not exercised regularly. The same applies to the triceps on the back of the arms and the muscles that support the upper spine. Weakening of these muscles affects not only the ability to lift objects, but also posture, balance, and stability. Balance depends not only on the strength of the legs, but also on the coordinated work of the entire body. Strong arms are needed to hold on when losing balance. Back muscles help maintain an upright position, and shoulders stabilize the body during walking or bending. In this context, the wall push-up becomes a valuable aid. It helps restore strength, improve coordination, and reduce the risk of falls without requiring special equipment, a mat, or a trainer. To perform the exercise, stand in front of a wall at a distance of about 60 centimeters, providing a slight tilt of the body, sufficient to activate the muscles without overexertion. Both palms should be placed on the wall at shoulder level, shoulder width apart, with fingers pointing upward and elbows slightly bent. Then slowly bend your elbows, bringing your chest and face closer to the wall, as if you were about to smell a rose. The movement should be controlled, smooth, and balanced. Stop just before your nose touches the wall. Then, using the strength of your arms and chest, push back to the starting position, exhaling and tightening your core muscles. Repeat this movement 10 to 15 times, depending on your comfort level. Rest for 30 seconds, and then perform 2 more sets if you feel up to it. Even 1 set a day, performed regularly, can bring noticeable improvements within a few weeks. If leaning forward seems difficult, you can start by reducing the angle of inclination, standing closer to the wall, and gradually increasing the load. Many older adults prefer to perform this exercise early in the morning when the body feels rested and the mind is calm. This sets the tone for the whole day, reminding the arms and shoulders of their strength and readiness for action. It is important to remember that the goal of the exercise is not to demonstrate strength, but to maintain independence, to be able to cook, clean, and lift necessary items without strain and risk of injury. One retired teacher from Nagpur shared that after 2 months of daily wall push-ups, she was once again able to easily carry a bag of vegetables, which she had to give up more than a year ago. These small victories may not make headlines, but they are invaluable to the quality of life. Therefore, when passing by a wall in your home, it is worth stopping for a few minutes and allowing it to become a quiet partner in maintaining strength and taking care of yourself. The ability to get up from a chair without assistance is a manifestation of inner strength. For many older adults, this simple movement is of great importance. Whether it's getting up after evening tea, rising after prayer, or moving from the bed to the dining table, the act of getting up is repeated dozens of times a day. However, after the age of 60, this movement becomes slower, heavier, and sometimes even unstable. It may be necessary to lean on your hands or ask for help. This small feeling of dependence, even in your own home, can negatively affect self-confidence. Fortunately, there is a simple way to train the body to restore strength and confidence when getting up. The chair sit-to-stand exercise is one of the most effective tools for restoring independence without strain, special equipment, and without leaving the living room. Getting up from a sitting position involves a complex of core muscle groups, primarily the quadriceps and the thighs, the gluteal muscles, and the core muscles around the abdomen. These muscles not only help to get up, but also protect the knees and spine from sudden loads. With age, these muscles begin to weaken naturally, making it difficult to get up, especially from low chairs or beds without a back. Without regular exercise, the body gradually gets used to a sedentary lifestyle, leading to stiffness, poor circulation, and an increased risk of falls. To perform the exercise, sit on a sturdy chair that is not too low and not too soft. Your feet should be flat on the floor, shoulder-width apart, and your knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Your hands can be placed on your chest or lightly rested on your thighs to maintain balance. Keep your back straight, your shoulders relaxed, and your gaze forward. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, slowly push off with your heels and tighten your thigh muscles to rise from the chair. It is important to avoid using momentum and rocking the body. Let your legs do the work. Once you have reached full standing, pause for a moment, feeling the strength in your legs and the pride in performing the exercise independently. Then slowly and controllably lower yourself back down, avoiding a sudden drop. Repeat this movement 8 to 10 times, taking breaks as needed. If you feel unsteady at first, you can hold on to the edge of the table or place a pillow on the chair to increase its height. Regular performance of this simple exercise, even 3 to 4 times a week, can significantly improve leg strength, balance, and self-confidence. The question arises, is this enough? The chair sit-to-stand exercise can prevent future dependence on walkers or assistance from family members. It keeps the legs active, the hips flexible, and the nervous system alert. One older woman from Surat shared that after performing this exercise daily for a month, she was once again able to sit cross-legged on the floor during prayer, which she had avoided for almost 2 years. It's not just about strength, it's about restoring freedom of movement, freedom to get up and sit down without fear, freedom to live with dignity. Therefore, before asking for help, it is worth pausing, taking a breath, and slowly getting up, reminding your body, I can still do it. Every rise from a chair is a step towards self-confidence. Balance is something that is often taken for granted until there is a risk of losing it. Many older adults after the age of 65 experience subtle changes. There is a feeling of instability when getting out of bed, the leg drags slightly when walking on the porch, and when turning while standing, there's a feeling that the ground is slipping away. These fleeting moments carry a deep fear of falling, which is not only physical but also psychological. Uncertainty in the body leads to a loss of self-confidence. A person begins to avoid long walks, hold onto the wall when climbing stairs, and choose a place by the wall in case support is needed. However, the body still has the power of balance, and the muscles of the hips, core, and mind only need a gentle reminder. This side leg raises exercise is just such a reminder. This simple and calm movement strengthens the hip muscles, improves lateral stability, and restores confidence in movements without fear. The muscles on the outside of the thigh, especially the gluteus medius, play a key role in maintaining balance. They keep the pelvis level while walking and help transfer weight from one leg to the other. With age, these muscles weaken, especially in those who lead a sedentary lifestyle or move less due to pain in the knees or back. Weakening of the lateral hip muscles leads to greater swaying of the body while walking. The ankles try to compensate for this, which increases the likelihood of stumbling and falling, especially when turning, stepping sideways, or walking on uneven surfaces. To perform this simple and effective exercise, stand behind a sturdy chair, preferably with a high back, and lightly hold on to it with one or both hands to maintain balance. Your feet should be shoulder-width apart, your back straight, and your gaze forward. Then gently lift your right leg to the side about 12 to 15 centimeters, avoiding swaying and tilting. The lift should be controlled by the muscles on the outside of the thigh. Hold this position for 1 to 2 seconds, and then slowly lower your leg back to the ground. Repeat the same with your left leg. Perform this movement 10 to 12 times for each leg, taking breaks between sets. 2 sets per session is ideal. It is important to remember that the main thing is not the height of the leg lift, but the control, stability, and feeling of the muscles working. If you feel unsteady, you can perform the exercise next to a wall, lightly leaning on it with one hand for support. Make sure the room is well lit and there are no rugs or objects that you can trip over. One man from Kochi shared that he was ashamed to appear in public after he almost stumbled near the temple. However, after 2 months of performing side leg raises daily, he not only began to walk more confidently, but also climbed the steps of the bus without hesitation. These small movements are not just exercises, but quiet messages to the nervous system. I am strong, I am stable, I trust my body again. Therefore, when near a chair or bed, it is worth stopping for a moment and performing 10 gentle side lifts, allowing the hips to remember their strength and the legs to regain confidence. Balance is not a gift that we lose, but a skill that can be restored with love, patience, and daily care. If these exercises have been helpful, consider sharing this video with friends, neighbors, or elderly relatives. A small movement can bring great relief, and a repost can be the reason why someone else starts their journey to strength and balance. In conclusion, it was not just about exercises, but about hope, about moving with care, and about finding strength in small daily steps. These 5 simple movements have the power to restore balance, confidence, and comfort to life. If something in this video touched or reminded you of your own journey, share your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Words can inspire others who are just starting their journey. And if this video was helpful, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon, and share it with those you care about to give them a gentle push to start a new life. May your steps remain steady, your heart light, and your home filled with quiet strength and peaceful smiles. Together, we have considered not just a set of exercises, but a path to hope, conscious movement, and finding strength in every small step. These 5 simple movements have the potential to restore balance, confidence, and comfort to life. If something in this video resonated or reminded you of a personal experience, share your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Your words can be a source of inspiration for those who are just starting their journey. If the information was helpful, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share the video with loved ones to give them an incentive to start new. May your steps be confident, your heart light, and your home filled with quiet strength and peaceful smiles.